lasting impact on audiences across the globe. Responsible for driving innovation and steering organizations towards growth. A strategic thinker committed to advancing the automotive landscape through innovative technologies and sustainable solutions. His expertise and vision has been instrumental. On behalf of the management, faculty and students of Narayana Engineering College, I take this opportunity to extend a warm welcome to Mr. Srinivas Raju Garu and request him to kindly come on to the dais. Now, without further delay, I request Mr. Srinivas Raju Garu to kindly take over the session and enlighten with us his highly valuable insights and experience. So, over to you, and it is a pleasure.
Very good morning to all of you. See, I'll be here for another 1 hour, 15 minutes. I want it to be interactive session. Ask questions whenever required, okay? I hope you make the best use of my time when I'm here, okay? So today, I think HOD sir has mentioned very clearly why we are here. The objective of coming here is we are very happy to collaborate with Narayana Group of Institutions. Yeah. So we are primarily here to introduce QNX RTOS program into your curriculum. Our vision is basically to build next generation of embedded system developers in this country. And from ECE, what career opportunities you have, get into embedded, VLSI, communication, right? I mean, these are a couple of areas. Of course, you can always pick up IT jobs, there's no restriction. But when you have opportunities in your own core areas, which you study for 4 long years, maybe about 40-50 subjects related to that you study, why not pursue careers in this area, right? That's what is important. So what I will do in the next 1 hour to 1 hour 15 minutes is first let's discuss about world of embedded systems. What's happening in the world of embedded systems? Right, I mean, I know you all work in labs, work on microcontrollers, 8085, 8051, write some programming, work on some microprocessors. But is it that's what is happening in the world, or what is changing, right? I think we'll discuss that. Post that, I will also talk about QNX. So what is QNX? Which company runs this division? And who are the customers? Worldwide, how many devices are powered by QNX? We'll go more insights into it. At the last, we will have more details about the course that we are launching in the campus. This will be like your elective subject. Already you have an RTOS course, and instead of only concepts, can you work on a commercial grade RTOS used by industry, and that's what we are introducing in the curriculum. Okay? You guys are with me? Yes. I think I expect morning a little more energy. I think I heard Nellore has a lot of energy. Okay? Are you guys with me? Yes. Okay. So let's look at Next slide. One more. Okay. You see a picture, right? I think this has multiple images. What all you can see on the screen is aerospace, aircrafts, consumer appliances, right? And you also see rail, drones, industrial automation, so many things on the screen. What is basically powering all this in common is your embedded systems, right? There's electronics, there is software. And this one, if you basically look at it, can be very, very simple embedded system which can cost $1, can be a large aerospace program or a space program which may cost about $1 billion, thousands of crores. There could be thousands of people working in that particular project. It can be very simple, it may cost you $1, that's it. 70, 100 rupees microcontroller, write some basic programming, or go for a most advanced space program where thousands of people work and you invest about $1 billion. Everything you can see on the screen. Next. So if you look at, I'll give you some examples, right? One is what's happening across automotive, right? So we have seen, you have two pictures of you see two pictures on the screen. What is on to your left? Any guesses? Any guess? Rickshaw? No. That's what we see, no? Tricycle means first we think of rickshaw. Okay, that's the first automobile invented about 150 years ago. Carl Benz, what we see as a Mercedes-Benz or Daimler, initially started from there. That's the first automobile. Why in that form? Is because prior to that we were having arched carts. So they removed the arch and the car put extra wheel and powered by a motor, and which has a standard braking system and acceleration, navigation, all that you can see on the screen. This is the first automobile. Now what we see on your right is the most advanced car what we see today, which is basically autonomous vehicle. That means, what is autonomous vehicle? Driverless car, so no driver, right? But technically to see both of them, both will do what? Will take you from one place to another place. That's it. The first one also does the same thing and the second one also does the same thing. But why do we need so much of sophistication there in the second one? The first one is purely a mechanical system, right? There's no electronics. The latest one is electronics and software. Any guesses in the second one, how many lines of software code is driving this autonomous vehicle? Any guess? It has about 100 to 300 million lines of software code. 300 million lines of software code. Look at the complexity. Okay. The question is, why do we need driverless cars? Why do we need? I think you guys know, we lose lives of millions of people worldwide because of road accidents, right? Safety. One of the major reasons is basically either a distraction or fatigue of the driver. Distraction while driving, you look at some mobile notification and by then you would have met with an accident. Or it could be fatigue. That means somebody driving for 10 hours, especially commercial vehicles like trucks, and they're tired, and flip of a second, you would have met with an accident. I think these are commonly found. And can we address these problems? Is when the idea of these autonomous vehicles came in. And one more major reasons could be in the West, they don't have too many drivers. Unlike in India, we're a 1.4 billion population. But rest of the world is aging population. There is a negative growth of population. Not many people are there. This could be some reasons which is driving this initiative. But what is important is, what is happening in that space is, it's improving safety and security. Okay, we'll discuss in more details, but what's the takeaway from that is the complexity of the embedded system that we are seeing there. Next. Yeah, take another example. Left is the old factory. Okay, what we do there, we assemble cars or any other products or devices. On your right is more industrial automation, industrial robots doing that work. In a manual thing, especially humans repeatedly doing the same work, every day comes and fix those nuts and bolts. So whatever is repetitive, humans can do much better work. And then we have robots which basically replaces these repetitive tasks. That's what we see on that, right? Example is the robotic automation that happened. Next. Next example that you basically see is a robots. It started probably something like a hobby thing, and gradually we have robots today probably part of your defense forces. They fight wars. They're part of industrial automation. They're part of medical, right? Have you seen surgical robots? That means a doctor sitting in US is able to perform surgery on a patient in Nellore, possible. And imagine, when I'm telling you these examples, think how this will happen. And the level of precision that is required. Here cannot be a feet difference. Every millimeter counts. A robotic arm, the precision is so important there. And it needs to happen real time. When I'm trying to make some changes, it needs to happen real time on the patient. And that's the kind of a complexity we are talking about. And beyond that, I think all of you guys follow Elon Musk. I know Tesla and SpaceX and all of that. He also has a company which produces robots. And he envisages that in the next 20 years, there'll be no surprise that each one of us will have one robot assistant at home. That's the future, okay? And we're talking about connected world, right? Smart cities, everything in this world is connected today. Mobiles are connected, but you will see more and more. And one of the examples is surveillance systems, cameras that are there just to improve safety. Now, 1,000 cameras in a city, who will monitor? Instead of that, those cameras are becoming more smarter, right? It's very, very important because camera is monitoring and you train the camera in such a way that, okay, somebody is carrying a gun, it will immediately identify, dial a police, communicate to them that so-and-so person at this so-and-so place, this is what is happening. Cameras are also becoming smarter. Pollution control systems, smart traffic management systems, smart energy management system, the meters, power consumption, power utilization, right? So I can give many examples of the smart cities. Okay, we talked about automotive, we talked about robotics, we talked about industrial automation, and imagine now defense systems. With wars everywhere, every country is spending billions of dollars to strengthen their defense systems. It could be aerospace, it could be defense, okay, it could be navy, warships to fighter jets to
drone systems to, and all other artillery, everything, they're all upgrading. Okay? Yeah. Can you go back? Yeah. So what is, go back. Okay, what is common in all these trends that you see is embedded systems are becoming more complex, more software. An automotive example clearly states 100 to 300 million lines of software code. You want to relate? Example is aircraft, a fighter jet probably will have 20 million lines of code. Car has 100 to 300 million lines of code. That's a comparison. And you can now visualize something which can fly, it has less of software, and something which goes on road, but it's required. Right? One is it's becoming more complex, more software driven. And next is all embedded systems are getting connected. They're all connected world. And next one is they're becoming more autonomous. That means less human intervention. Right? All examples, industrial automation, the manufacturing plant is automated. Driving is automated. Robotic surgery is remotely being performed. Right? Lot of automation is coming in. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. So go to a next level is basically to look at what are the different categories of embedded systems. So one of them, we call it as bare metal embedded system, which is typically your traditional embedded systems where limited functionality could be, example is your consumer electronics, or the example could be simple tasks to be automated. Those embedded systems are called as bare metal embedded systems, which means you use a microcontrollers, microprocessors, simple ones, and then you write everything in the firmware itself. The next category of embedded systems are slightly more complex. You need more hardware resources, more memory to manage, and what will happen? To run all that, more input, more sensors, more input devices, to manage all that, you need an operating system. Okay? And that is basically called as general embedded systems. Okay? Which needs operating system. Now there's one category of embedded systems where, like second one, everything is needed, but along with it, it's also mission critical. So what are mission critical systems? The ones which involves human lives. Could be aerospace, defense, railways, automotive, industrial plants, nuclear plants. All over, I think a small change can impact human lives one to many. One example could be your, in car we have something called airbags, right? Seen? No? Yes, no? Yes, okay. So that airbags, the purpose of airbag is when you meet with an accident, a airbag should open, right? So that it will save the passengers in the car from head injuries to others. Automatically it opens and protects. Imagine that airbag delays by probably 2 seconds. What will happen? You will not be there to see the airbag, right? You will be outside the car. So it's important that these are mission critical systems where needs a separate kind of OS which ensures timely response, time deterministic feature to reliability, safety, security. That operating system is called real-time operating systems. They are also OS. Like any other OS, the functionality is the same, but beyond the functionality, it is also ensuring timely response all the time, reliable, all 100 times. It cannot be like 100 car accidents, 99 times it opens or 1 time it doesn't open. is also a risk. It has to ensure all the time it opens, right? So such places what we use is RTOS, and the QNX which we're talking is one of the real-time operating systems, and they are the market leaders in automotive industry, medical, and couple of other areas, right? And I'll explain more. QNX today powers about 500 million devices. That means 500 million. 50 crore plus devices in this world today are powered by QNX. That includes maybe 25 crore or 27 crore cars, medical devices, aerospace, automation robots. It powers many of them. Okay, that's very, very powerful RTOS. So that's the last category. Is that clear? Bare metal, general purpose, real time. Right? Real time is predominantly for mission critical systems. Otherwise they function like a regular OS. Next. What? Thank you. Thanks for thinking. Okay. Let's discuss another trend, what's happening. Okay. What you see on the screen is the car which has many subsystems. So when you say subsystems, many subsystems, you know, any imagination, any guess how many electronic control units in a car? Any guess? Anybody can raise their hand and then tell. It's okay, I'm not going to give you exam marks, so be open and share. Okay? There are about 120 electronic control units in some of the cars. 120 of them are mini computers. Electronic control units is small mini computers in the car. They communicate with each other and perform the task that you wanted it to do. Example, engine control is also an ECU, electronic control unit. And then clusters, navigation systems, braking systems, your steering systems, navigation systems, body electronics, sunroof controls, suspension controls, chassis, so many such small mini computers which are connected, all of them. Right from there, the trend is from the distributed architecture where hundreds of electronic control units which are there, it is now moving to a centralized, because we have high performance compute available. When this architecture was there, we had only 8-bit, 16-bit microcontrollers and microprocessors are there. But today, we have advanced HPCs are there. Could be from NVIDIA, could be from Qualcomm. We have close to about 32 core processors. A processor has 32 cores and runs at probably 2 to 4 gigahertz of speed. All of them put together, right? I mean, you have advanced compute which is there. So what they're trying to do is, instead of having 20 mini computers, they're combining all that into one high performance compute. So from a distributed architecture, we are moving towards centralized architectures. So one way all the automotive industry today, if you look at it, they're working towards something called software defined vehicle platforms. What does it mean? Like your mobile phone, you'll have everything in one chip, and then you'll have entire software stack on top of that. What is the advantage? Why should we centralize it? Is one, easy to upgrade later, right? Like your mobile phone, new features come, what happens? Once in a while, once in 6 months, once in a year, new version of Android gets updated, new patches gets updated, new security updates, comes in and then you update it. Similarly, car also gets auto upgraded, right? And you can also subscribe to many applications, many features in the car. You can pay and subscribe also in future. Understand? Yeah. Next. Right. So this is another trend in the automotive. We talked about autonomous vehicle. Autonomous vehicle is nothing but a level 5 feature. We have 5 levels, what we call as ADAS, Advanced Driver Assist Systems, ADAS systems. Okay. So those ADAS levels are there. 5 means fully autonomy. That means there's no driver, no So this primarily what we basically see is the next level. When you go, level 2 is commonly used across. Level 2 is commonly used in Indian cars also. Like you have vehicles like Mahindra, you have vehicles like Tatas. All of them come with L2 features. What does it? It's a partial autonomy, not full autonomy, but in some conditions, car can also drive on its own. But strictly, driver has to, keep their eyes on the road and then also hands ready to take over manually, but it can be automated. What do you basically automate in a car is 3 things. One is navigation. That means go left, right, automatic it should happen. And then braking systems, when to stop. Acceleration, when at what speeds we should go. As humans, how do we decide this? We keep seeing on the road is empty, then what do? You go at a higher speed. Or you want to take a turn, you put an indicator, take a turn. Right? Or you are overtaking a vehicle, you also navigate it, you estimate the opposite vehicle is going at what speed and what speed I should be traveling to overtake that vehicle, right? All that you are basically processing it in your brain and taking action. That's what happens, right? Now, imagine if this needs to happen automatically in the car, where human brain is not involved. We take our brains for granted, right? We think everything is there. But in order to just get this part of functionality, they use cameras, radars, lidars, and 100 million lines of software to achieve the same thing what human brains are able to process. Continuously cameras are monitoring, radar data is coming in, lidar data is coming in. We're able to build a perception around the car all the time. But this data which comes in, we are trying to see what is happening around the vehicle. And still they're training. In our Indian road conditions, even road is empty, you cannot take it for granted. Suddenly somebody from one corner will run and come. How do you predict that? Because as humans, being in our own cities, we know how people behave. How does system knows? We have to train those systems. Right? Suddenly you're going, some dog comes and runs across the road. So these are scenarios that people think. L2 also has features like driver monitoring system. That means continuously it is monitoring the driver behavior. Okay, you're tired, you're continuously yawning, or rapid eye movement, right? I mean, you're closing your eyes. It detects and tells you, hey, take a break. Even if you don't stop, vehicle will automatically park itself. It's there. It's a safety feature. Like that, there are many such features which are probably today incorporated as a part of L2. Then L3 is a little more complex condition, can drive in a certain environments on its own. L4 can be in the cities. L5 doesn't require a driver at all. In the remaining, we need a driver, but driver need not to all the time drive. We can give it an autopilot kind of a thing. Yeah, next. Yeah. Again, what are we seeing as trends? We are seeing common trends are embedded systems are becoming more software driven, right? And safety and security is becoming very, very important. What is safety? What is safety? Safety in a layman language, protecting humans from machines. That means you use a machine and you have to have safety systems to ensure humans are protected. What is security? It's the other way around. Protect machines from humans. They hack security, right? They hack into those machines and take control. That's why safety, security is becoming very, very important in all the industries. Not necessarily auto, even in industrial automation, even in railways, even in aerospace and defense. Got it? Yeah. Now question is what it means to all of you. What it means to all of you is more opportunities. Architectures are changing, right? So they'll have to redo a lot of stuff. So the entire industry needs next generation people to work on these technologies. A lot of software content, high performance compute is coming. And with the technologies that are available, we are also addressing or trying to solve the problems which are not solved before. Right? It all means employment. Does it mean tomorrow you get a job? No. Why will a company come to somebody and give a job and pay when they have choices? So which means if you have to get there, you have to get ready for it. So you have to start also preparing yourself to take up those opportunities. It doesn't happen automatically. Imagine you are an employer. Suppose tomorrow you start a company of your own. Will you take 100 people I need? Let's take all 100 people. We don't, right? You interview people, you take the best people. Then why do you think other people will take you just like that? They also want good people. So it's all the key is, are we ready for these opportunities? You have to start thinking in that lines. Okay? Yeah. So any questions so far? I think you guys are very quiet here. Any questions? Feel free to ask. No, there's always a problem in common sessions like this. They don't talk open. So there is nothing called right question or wrong question, right? Ask. It can be as stupid as it can be, right? You ask them, no problem.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
Sir, QNX uses micropanel architecture for reliability and real-time clarity. For large-scale applications, we are already using Linux operating system.
Take it up.
By using containers and Kubernetes. See, why should we prefer QNX operating system for which technical reasons we should prefer QNX, sir?
Okay.
Comparatively, Linux also using print RTOS, primitive real-time has Linux control, sir. Why should prefer this one?
Excellent question. I think very, very important. I think let's give a round of applause. I will address that, but at a high level, I have a slide exclusively talking about this. Okay, but for simple thing is, it's the architecture which makes all the difference. I have an exclusive slide addressing this particular point, which I will share. Okay, got it. Any other questions? Okay? Okay, I think we'll probably take a break maybe next after completing about QNX. Yeah. I have a small video to begin with. I want all of you to pay attention to this video and probably look at those numbers. Will tell you why QNX is so popular, right? And the numbers which are there, please look at it. That. Yeah. Audio is not coming. Just stop, go back. I need an audio. Can I time me? No, separately you have to do. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Now you can just pay attention to the video. Right. Next. Next slide. Just click once again. Yeah. Okay. So probably I think that clearly highlights when and where the QNX is started. QNX is started out of a Waterloo University, right? And a couple of researchers put together this operating system. That's what they invented in 1980, okay? And it's almost 45 years today. And in this journey of 45 years, they have powered 500 million devices. That means 500 million devices are powered by QNX. The most mission critical systems are powered by QNX, right? Including naval ships to defense aircrafts, to drones, to medical devices, to all of that. Okay? Yeah, I think those lights, I think we can keep it off. Okay. So now you can see, and they have 2,500 customers worldwide. That means 2,500 companies worldwide. This includes car manufacturers, medical device companies, the rail companies, defense companies, aerospace companies, all of them, all the top companies in the world use QNX. Right? Of course, there are a few of them use Linux, but a majority of them, right? In certain sectors, majority of them use only QNX. Just go back. Okay, why is it preferred? Right? One of them is when you're actually developing an embedded system, one is functionality. That means when you receive a certain input, you have to perform this, etc. All that is the functionality part of it. That can be achieved. But at the same time, every industry vertical has standards. That means safety regulations. That means for automotive, we have a safety standard called ISO 26262. And you write a piece of code, it needs to also comply to safety. It's not just simply writing, okay, you press this, this happens. It doesn't work that way. It also should meet safety standards. Okay? And similarly, security standards are there. So companies spend months and years sometime to get these safety and security certifications. Despite having the functionality right, you have to follow a certain process to do that. The advantage with QNX is, I think they're all pre-certified. That means companies need not to worry about certifying their operating system. It's already pre-certified. In today's world, what is important? Time to market is important. That means who launches the product first, with that will have a better market share. So people don't have to worry and spend time in getting their OS certified. So this is taken care. Next. Yeah. I think where is QNX is used? Of course, QNX is used in a wide variety of products and devices and equipment. But now, I think broadly, if you can put them in, right from automotive to medical to mining to railways to, right? I mean, these are aerospace, renewable energy, commercial vehicles, and all of them. Okay, next. Yeah. In terms of, just to tell you their market share in automotive, I think top, if you look at those numbers, right, onto your right, top, I think I'll stand that side, so it's easy to record. Okay. So top 10 out of 10 automotive companies in the world use QNX. 10 of the 10 top companies. Top 24 out of 25 EV makers in the world. 24 out of 25 EV makers use QNX. And top 7 out of 7 tier 1s. Tier 1s is the technology solution companies like your Bosch, Continental, Aptiv, Visteon. All the top companies use QNX for building their systems. Right? In terms of number, the latest number is 255 million vehicles. Latest is 275 million cars are powered by QNX. Right? That's huge. So anything to do with mission critical, they use QNX. I don't know how many of you you want to get ideas. You go to CES site. CES is Consumer Electronics Show, which happens in the US, Vegas, every year. Worldwide, whatever they're going to launch this year or in the future, they display that in the CES. I think you should go online. I know, like the way we follow our favorite stars, I think also start following some of these sites. Basically, you get latest information on what's happening, okay? And the kind of products that are being showcased by different top companies in the world, right from your Apple to everybody are there in CES show. One of the biggest show that happens in the world. So you get a lot of product ideas, a lot of technology ideas from there. Okay? Right, next. Now, QNX also very closely works with almost all the top hardware companies, like your Qualcomm or NXP or TI or Renesas or Telechips, top hardware companies. QNX also works very closely with the other technology stack providers or AUTOSAR consortium and the Vector, right? And also works on the cloud side, right, with AWS or Google or GCP or Azure. They also work there. Next. Yeah, these are examples of the non-automotive. That means they call it as general embedded market as per QNX, which means medical, aerospace, which is non-automotive. They put them in one category. You can see the kind of companies which are basically using QNX. Right, next. Yeah. So let's understand what is QNX, right? I think we know QNX is RTOS. We know what is real-time operating system is. We have seen the difference of general purpose versus real-time operating systems are. Go a little deeper. It's an RTOS, which is, you want to see here, it's basically a microkernel, okay? And below that is your hardware. That means this OS has to run on some hardware platform, and you have a hardware. In order to communicate with hardware and IOs and interfaces, you write drivers, which is what we call it as board support package. Suppose you take a hardware board, you connect a camera to it. It doesn't work like that. You have to write a driver for it. You want to connect some sensor. It doesn't work like that. You have to write a driver for it, which is what we call it as BSP or drivers. You connect a graphic interface, it doesn't work. Got it? Right, next is you go up. One of the biggest advantages with QNX is there are scenarios where you have one hardware system, but for multiple requirements. That means you have mission critical applications also run on that, and the general applications also run on that. Could be example of a digital cockpit. In a car, latest car, I don't know how many of you have seen, like your Mahindra, we have a pillar-to-pillar display. That means earlier we used to have one small LCD in the car. Now we have a large end-to-end LCD. That LCD has multiple screens powered by one hardware itself, one hardware platform. So in that, some mission critical applications also run, which is taken care by QNX. And QNX has something called hypervisor. And that on using that hypervisor, you can also install Android, you can also have Linux, also put in. So what happens? One screen is powered by Android, one screen is powered by Linux, and the mission critical part is run by QNX also. Means you are optimizing the same hardware for multiple requirements. The QNX takes care of all the safety, security, compliant requirements. The other ones will take care of other requirements. Understood? Yeah. Hence, we have a hypervisor and multiple operating systems can run. Next. Yeah, this is another example of you have a 64-bit multi-core hardware with various CPU, GPU, touch interfaces, camera interfaces, all that. And then QNX takes care of safety critical systems. Android takes care of other infotainment, navigation, and all that Android takes care of. All that is running on the same hardware board. It's possible. Okay? Next. Yeah, this answers your question. Okay? He asked when Linux is there, why do we need QNX? You know, Linux also complied to certain requirements. Linux by default, in terms of architecture, it's called monolithic architecture. What I mean by monolithic is, there is a kernel. Kernel is basically heart of an operating system. And there are drivers which communicate with your hardware resources. And then there are user applications on top. There are three things. So kernel and drivers both are in this kernel space as far as Linux is concerned. Now imagine one of the driver fails for whatever reason, right? The entire system doesn't function. Other drivers also doesn't function because they are in the same kernel space. Now in the case of QNX, it's called microkernel architecture. That means they've separated the kernel, made a small space for kernel independently runs. And then you have drivers also independently run. And they have your inter-process communications established with safe communication and all that. What will happen there? Even if a network driver fails, for example, rest of the drivers will work, kernel also works. Only that particular driver doesn't work. right? Especially in mission critical systems, the architecture is the key. Systems should not fail. And this ensures the reliability part of it, okay? And user space is anyway on top of it. So there's more to do with architecture, the monolithic and microkernel kind of architecture. What makes probably QNX is much stronger. Hope it answers your question. Addresses? Yes, okay. Next. Next. Yeah, I think I have many examples. We talked about it. It's not just those 7-8 industries that I talked about. It's used beyond, but those 7-8 industries prominently use QNX. Next. Okay. Why learn QNX? The simple reason is, I think it is dominantly used across industries where mission criticality is there, across industries. And learning QNX is not only just gets you jobs related to QNX, but you want to start your career in embedded, making sure you have an OS and RTOS knowledge as an edge. You're not limiting your opportunities to only QNX jobs, but overall gamut of jobs in the embedded system domain. Gives you a lot of opportunities in that space. Okay? Next. Yeah, it also has support like Linux now. Of late, they're also supporting a lot of open libraries. And they also support like your AI libraries, like your PyTorch and all of them. I think you can use those as well. Yeah. So that's about QNX. I think by now, I think you would have understood what is QNX and the kind of dominance, market dominance it has, and why it is important for you to learn QNX, okay? Coming back to, I think you see everywhere pi square, okay, I wanted to also take a minute or two and explain what is pi square. So we are a leading global technology company. I'm the CEO of pi square, and we are a global solution partners for QNX. So we work on technology solutions for QNX. Of course, in India, we're about a 5-year-old company. We've got about 500 plus people working here. And I think worldwide, we have operations in US, Europe, and of course, India, we have Bangalore and Hyderabad operations. We work on technology solutions, products related to auto and automotive ecosystem, including we're building a EV charger product. And apart from that, I think we have a lot of technology solutions that we provide, okay? Yeah, in terms of our capability, we are majority mostly in automotive. And we are also now growing into medical, aerospace, and we're also growing into industrial automation area. And our capability is mostly on the embedded stack. If you basically look at it, anything to do with hardware, drivers, OS, middleware, user applications, cloud and connectivity, and overall safety and security standards. So that's a very, very strong point that includes design, development, and testing of embedded systems, right now for automotive, but eventually for medical, aerospace, and other areas. That's our strong capability as a company that we bring. Yeah. These are our offices across the world. Yeah. Right. Now I have a couple of more slides to close. Is more about why QNX, right, in your curriculum. We have this initiative called QNX Everywhere in Education. So far, QNX is mostly used by industries. Reason being, I think one is expensive, companies can buy, education institutions could not buy. Hence, what we have done is, we've come out with a program, and in fact, QNX is this program called QNX Everywhere. Through this program, they provide licenses of QNX software and tools to partner education institution. That means all of you get to access QNX in the lab. which eventually would have costed $1 million plus. I think those tools are available in the campus for you to use. Right now there are other open source, could be Linux or could be free RTOS. There are a couple of RTOSs are there. But is free RTOS used in aerospace and defense, or is free RTOS used in automotive? May not. QNX is a commercial grade RTOS which is used in the industry. So learn something which is used in the industry, that makes it more, create more opportunities for you. Okay. With this initiative, we started partnering with education institutions in India. In every state, we handpick few institutions and work with them. One is, of course, good academic credentials. Second is a good commitment from management and leadership team. And we collaborate and introduce this in the curriculum. Yeah. What do we introduce in the curriculum? It's a 40-hour program on real-time operating systems. Already majority of the institutions have RTOS as a curriculum. Now, not just simply learn concepts, but also work on QNX. So it's called as RTOS using QNX. That's the course. And once you get in, I think not only learn concepts, but also at the end of the program, you should be able to get QNX running on a hardware board to practically see how OS is basically ported onto your hardware platform. That's the end objective that we want from all of you. It's going to be a complete hands-on program. It has a lot of assignments, projects, a lot of things are there. Okay. Yeah. So we know there are challenges. It's not simply sign an MOU, give free software, it doesn't work. So what we are trying to do is, because we are interested in outcome, in order to get the outcome, what we are trying to do is, first is, we've identified few faculty from your campus. They're going through an extensive training. 5 days of in-person training followed by close to about 2 to 3 months of hands-on training online. Your faculties for now has become students and daily doing assignments and projects and submitting to our trainers. I was talking to one of your professors this morning. He was mentioning, we didn't thought it's going to be that rigorous, and they're enjoying it. So usually all the faculty trainings, what happens, they'll call them for some 5-day program and finish. We don't leave it there, because we are very serious about outcome, and there's a lot of assignments which are given. We want to make sure your faculties are really ready to teach you guys. That's an extensive program that we are doing. And then we are giving curriculum and content. Content is, apart from your faculty teaching, all of you will get LMS, Learning Management System logins. In that login, you also have a e-learning material. The videos which are curated by experts from QNX Canada team. Right? QNX is headquartered in Canada. Their team has curated a lot of learning videos. And then, just go back. And then, you get a lot of assignments to do in lab, projects, followed by, I think you get to participate in hackathons and design contests. And then followed by, you'll also, eventually industry support will come in. If institution is willing to work on some R&D projects, we are willing to support them. Right? A lot of things come as a part of this partnership. And also, I suggest all of you become active in QNX communities online. That could be, there's a dedicated Git community for QNX. There's a Stack Overflow community. There's Reddit. Like that, there are a lot of online forums are there where you can also learn and contribute back to the online communities. Okay? And this is one thing which is important is, no more, right? I mean, there are these large companies, services companies who come, they interview differently, but there's a good startup product companies are there. When they interview, imagine you would have developed a project, put it on a Git and give a reference of Git to them, your chances of opportunities increases. Right? One is participate in the interview, aptitude test, programming test, that test is typical services companies do. But product companies don't hire that way. Of late, a lot of product companies are hiring through hackathons and wanted to really see what you're contributing in Git. Share, your projects on Git and share it with client to see how you're working on. This is what makes difference. Okay. Next. Yeah. A very planned schedule in terms of how many basically weeks of training that will happen. Okay. Next. Acha, one, can you just go back? Apart from your faculty teaching, your LMS, e-learning is going on, we also have experts from QNX global team, be it from Germany or be it from US, that's Canada, PySquare teams, all of them conduct online sessions. There'll be visit from PySquare and QNX teams during the course. The experts will come interact with you. So this is all part of the program execution, not just your faculty teaching or e-learning, right? Next. Yeah. In terms of opportunities, I've already mentioned. One is, of course, opportunities related within the QNX ecosystem and QNX customers. But in general, learning this will also open up opportunities within the embedded system domain. That is much larger pie, beyond QNX related activity, right? So that way, double benefit. One is, of course, within the QNX, you get specialized, you get opportunities in that. But in a broader spectrum, I think you'll also enhance embedded system opportunities. What do you get? I know end of the day, it's all about the takeaways, right? One is, of course, all of you will get a course completion certificate from QNX. And you get to work with their global community forums, right? And it also, end of the day, enhances placement and internship opportunities for all of you. At the same time, you get to work on latest tools from QNX, otherwise it's not accessible by everybody. Now with this QNX Everywhere initiative, these tools are available. And beyond that, what we want from you is active participation. See, what probably we get or institutions get for you being actively participating in this, end of the day, you're benefiting from this. Not the institution, nor the PySquare, nor QNX. You have to take advantage of this. When such opportunities come, you have to put extra effort. You have to go beyond curriculum. Maybe class may be 1 hour, but the amount of resources, online resources available for you, you have to go and explore. Your learning cannot be limited to classrooms and assignments and exams. It has to go beyond. Okay? Right. And actively, work on assignments and submit on LMS, and also participate in tech forums and hackathons. And what we want to see is more QNX champions or more embedded developers in this country. Yeah. Next. Okay, so as we are on the mission to develop embedded system developers in this country, let's collaborate and take it forward. With this note, thank you very much. Yeah, any questions now?
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
I'm Ray from CE. So today my question to you is, sir, last year in 2025, we have seen many accidents regarding not only automotive cars, but also seen many accidents from airspace and from buses, like major accidents. So why this QNX not help reducing accidents last year, and how can you assure that this QNX will reduce accidents in the coming future?
Okay, so if you basically look at what are the nature of accidents, right? If, for example, you look at a fire accident, right? Or you look at aircraft fire accident, right, which taken off, and you're talking about recent incidents. It's all about multiple things. Number one is, do you have QNX in it? Number one. So buses, you're referring to buses. Buses, I don't know how many of them really use QNX, but in general, these are like driver assist systems. Despite the vehicle suggesting something to do, if someone goes and banks, how many buses today have driver monitoring system? How many buses? Very few. We don't have. Okay? If you look at cars, how many cars have? All the latest cars have. The old cars does not have driver monitoring systems. Right? So that's the future. Can any company achieve in one go? It cannot happen in one go. It takes probably a decade or so to get there. The whole effort of autonomous ADAS systems is all coming in the recent past. And the whole idea came up only very recent, 5-6 years ago, 8 years ago, right? And how many percentage of vehicles is very small, less than 5% of the vehicles or 2% of the vehicles today has ADAS in those vehicles. So when we get there, obviously we will be addressing that problem for sure. Yeah? Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
My name is Ashita. Sir, we have discussed many advantages and achievements of QNX, sir. So, what is the one risk factor of using QNX that we engineers must really focus?
Risk factor, isn't it?
A risk factor of using QNX.
Risk factor of using QNX. I mean, personally, I don't perceive any risk as such. But yeah, one aspect is you have to put more effort to learn QNX. Because one thing I see is, as EC guys, you don't have that exposure to OS concepts and all of that. I think you have to put little extra effort compared to probably CS guys on learning OS side of it. Otherwise, in terms of risk in deploying it, we don't. If there's a risk, then industries don't use, no? Yeah, is it easy, little more complex system to understand? You have to put more effort. At least I can see only from engineers' context is that's, yeah.
Good morning, sir. Today my question is, in a cost-sensitive yet safety critical country like India, how can QNX justify its adoption?
Good question. Yeah, because QNX in terms of commercially, also there's a cost. Probably it is free for institutions. I think your best advantage right now. But when industry has to use, they'll have to pay and use. Okay? But for a safety and security, the trade-off for industry is, when I use some open source tools, getting them certified takes time, manpower, cost. Instead of that, they will trade off with something readily available and safety certified, security certified, reliable, accepted by industries worldwide, and powering about 500 million devices. There's a trust factor, and then they don't mind paying for it. I think ideally that's the way to look at it, right? So even the other system is not going to be, even if it is open source, it's not easy to get certified. It will take time and cost. So that's the trade-off companies are today basically doing. Okay, good. Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
It was a wonderful session witnessed, sir. There are no words about it, and but this.
Good.
So my question is, what are the technical skills would you suggest to students like us to prioritize, who are very much interested to collaborate to safety critical system OS development?
Very nice. Now, one is developing OS, the other one is basically for you to start your careers in embedded world, right? One is of course QNX side, but in general, first of all, develop system thinking, okay? Don't look at C programming, data structures in isolation. Instead, think where it is going to be used. And the product and system thinking is very, very important. That's number one. Number two, skills wise, C programming, even today, QNX, you need C programming, right? 1970s, Dennis Ritchie probably would have introduced C programming to the world. Even today, C programming is used. C and C++ is very commonly used, right? And next, in terms of skill sets, OS concepts are required, hardware understanding is required, your microprocessor or a multi-core architecture understanding is required, because you will work on more and more multi-core processors than the 8-bit, 16-bit microcontrollers, right? And beyond that, I think the problem-solving ability, right? I mean, for a given situation, you should be able to do it. And to answer your question, we have two things, safety and security. So you have to understand functional safety standard, which is ISO 26262 standard. And you have a cyber security standard called ISO 21434, and which could be different for robotics, which could be different for medical, maybe 20% variation, but there are standards for each industry. So go in depth, don't limit yourself to write one small program, show it an 851 saying I'm achieved. That days have to go. You have to pick up real world problems. Understand when you're walking around, start looking at that. Curiosity is very important. Today, the best generation ever, at least in my career I've seen, is this generation, okay? Advantage is you have information at your fingertips. It's again how you make use of the technology that is available for you, either to see video shots and Facebooks and all of that, or really use tools for your advantage and to improve your career opportunities. So work on that. So summarize, develop system thinking, work on projects, real world problems you pick up, work on projects. It's not going to be easy, right? You may not succeed also, don't worry about it. But at least the process of doing it itself is a learning, right? Not necessarily you have to build a product and show it to the world, not necessary. But you can at least attempt it. So allocate a couple of hours every week beyond your syllabus. Go and team up a couple of people together and saying, let's work on this problem. Weekends, couple of hours together, start working on it. For whose benefit? Your benefit. All this effort is to see you guys have a bright career, right? Otherwise, what is the interest for anybody for that matter? Even for QNX also, the number of people required is very few. They can just go to a couple of IITs and limit there. They don't have to go to many institutions. Idea is, let's create an impact. With that intent, we have come here, okay? I hope all of you make the best use of it. It's not going to be easy. You'll have to put hard work. Nothing is easy in life. Anything comes in an easy way, also goes that way. And you have a 40 years of your career. You're probably 20, 21. By the time you come out of engineering, you'll work till 60 or maybe 50, 30 years of a career. And that 30 years of your career depends on the foundation that you lay now. You want to take it easy now, then you will struggle the rest of the 30 years. You do it right now, then there are chances that you also have good opportunities, you also enjoy your life. You'll have to think wisely and then plan your career better. I know it probably what happens, I was talking to professor in the morning. See, all that bhashan that we give or your professors give, your parents give, it's okay, these guys are old fellows, they keep giving advice. But imagine you think your seniors super seniors, your relatives. There'll be few people who are struggling to make life. No jobs, no opportunities, because they've taken things easy when they're in the campus. So it's a right time for you. You have another 1 more year, 1.5 years to go. I think from now, make every hour count. You know, we all get very fascinated with Musk. That guy works 16 to 18 hours a day. Even today, he's the richest guy in the world, but still he works 16 to 18 hours a day. Life is not easy. Right? I think that's the kind of a mindset all of us should have. The growth mindset is the way to go. Okay, I know a lot of people say, sir, in school days, my parents said, study hard, you'll go to college, you'll enjoy. Now you're saying, now also study hard, you'll enjoy when you work. I'm telling you, when you really get into a good career, I think I'm sure your life will be very good. Okay? This is, I'm making this statement with a concern, not about anything else. Okay? Even if you do, you don't do, personally, it doesn't matter to me, right? So why I'm telling it is mostly to see all the youngsters have bright careers. We want to see you guys succeed in life, not struggle. Okay? So make use of platforms like this, do well. Okay? Thank you.
So one last question.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Go.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Hi, sir. My name is Sarvajit. Thank you, sir. My question is,
Keep the mic closer. Yeah.
is this QNX system is possible to install in world systems?
Can be. No problem. So what happens is, as of today, QNX does not have support for MCUs, microcontrollers. It only supports MPUs, microprocessors, right? If you go to QNX portal, it will tell you what all the chipset it supports. In the sense, they already have a BSP, board support package, the drivers, all that is already written. Otherwise, anything which is ARM architecture, Intel architecture, all of them has a QNX support. If it is existing list, drivers are already there, start using it, configuring it, compiling it will work fast. If not, you have to develop drivers, which takes time. So go to that list, you can still go back to the old systems and install. No problem.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Good. Huh?
Thank you so much.
Oh, nice.
Well, your 1.5 hour session was simply phenomenal. A student said that it is truly next level in every aspect. Thank you so
Thank
much
you,
for
sir.
your sharing your knowledge and making the session so engaging and memorable. I think you have sprinkled the aroma of QNX for 90 minutes and students have felt the same, sir. Thank you so much. As a mark of respect and gratitude, we now move on to the felicitation ceremony. It gives us immense pleasure to felicitate our esteemed guest, Mr. Srinivas Raju Garu, CEO, in recognition of the valuable contribution to the QNX Everywhere initiative and his continuous support towards industry-academia collaboration. I now request our respected Vice Principal, Dr. Hazrataya Garu, and our esteemed HOD, Dr. K. Murali Garu, along with, sir, please take our today's chief guest, Dr. Srinivas Raju Garu, come forward to felicitate him. Along with, I'm asking all the faculty to join the felicitation ceremony.
Yeah, thank you, Anil. Hope the. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I think everybody can join. Come, sir. Hope it went clear to students. Hope it was. Huh? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Andy. Nice. Huh? How was it?
Nice.
Nice. Good. Thank you, Professor. Who else along with